Is it working? Is it working? It is! Whoop-de-doop-de-doo. Yeah, I'm giving it a little bit of time. I'll change the title. I'll just do all the things I need to do here. But you can stare at the title card for the first game we'll be playing. So give it a second or two. I was planning on playing piano, but well, stuff happens. So I'm not gonna dilly-dally all that long. We won't waste time here that much. Yeah. So, if y'all don't see stuff, like, this is supposed to let me know, but it should be all working quite fine. I do apologize a little bit for the lateness. I've been a little bit ill, so that is not good. Well, I've been actually, not just a little bit, I've been actually like quite seriously though, but nothing that y'all should care about or need to know about, because I've got it under control and not like y'all can even actually help with that. I need to get my phone apparently because sending me messages. So, but yes, we'll give it a few seconds to start up, and then we'll switch to the actual game. Mainly I had a problem with my elbow, and that did cause me problem with playing piano. And hopefully that won't impact the gaming too much. It most likely will though. Let's hope it doesn't. And yeah, I don't think I need to delay any further. So I suppose we can just like, you know, get going. So, as stated, as you can see, first game will be Nimbusfall, so, you know, we shall get on with it. Yeah, I'll just turn that off, and I'm also gonna take that out so I can make it all fine. That's fine. It's not that important. Why do I even care this much to make it like as good as it can be? What? En español. Por favor, no. Yeah. It is a bit loud, so I need to do a... There is no accurate... Oh, there is no clear music control. It's either on or off. That is... no bueno. Is it? Okay, I can actually like put it in a windowed mode manually. My goodness. Suboptimal, but we'll work with this. We'll work with this. It's visible. Excellent. Let's see how loud in comparison to my speech it is. It is pretty loud, so I'll put it a bit quieter. That should be fine. Whenever I alt tab, it unfortunately kinda like decides to do that. God dang it, I realized I didn't get headache medicine. I couldn't get pain meds. Sorry, I need to answer a message. Right. But with that, I believe we can begin. And okay, well, that's an interesting way that jumped. But as is evident from the title and from the title screen, the current game is Nimbusfall. I hope it's loud enough. We'll just deal with that. Okay. Turbo. Huh. Okay. I'll just go with normal. And single player? I have no idea. It's like a dual game? Okay. I wonder if this is supposed to be played with their victory. Oh no. Iron Man, go for it. Okay, whatever. We'll start with the normal. I am alone. The moon exterminated my entire race and hid in the tower. Protected by its guardians, my mission is to get revenge, and you are going to help me. Yeah. That's pretty funny float. Oh. That is certainly an interesting special attack. Let's go for the first one. It's chained. Should be easy. Alright. Okay. Ah! Okay, the bottom bar is like my special energy bar. It's full. That deals like very considerable damage, I feel. Ow. That doesn't deal even close to as much as I had expected. Oh! I'm not dead. But, no, I am. I actually lost my life there. Okay. Well. Is it a boss rush game? It is a boss rush game, huh? I guess. That's nice. I do like boss rush games. I wonder if the damage, like, transfers from one enemy to another. That's one. Okay. Oh, dual weapon. You choose. They are literally the same. Okay. Well done, I know you could. What is that skull though? Is that like flawless execution or something? I wonder. That does seem interesting. I wonder. I guess that might be like a flawless or something. You're not from around here. Oh, yeah. So, do I now have the stick? Yeah. Oh, goodness. Ow. So, don't get hit once. That, funnily enough... Oh, no. Okay. This enemy looks like Arniero. What does this do? Oh, it's just an honest to god save spot. Okay. Oh. Okay. There is like a considerable amount of hit lag that there is, so that is a good amount of damage you deal. Like when you land a strike, there is an actual like considerable amount of lag. Or rather that you are stuck in a... Oh, okay. You are stuck in that movement for a second there. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, that was unfortunate. What do you do in that situation there? That is annoying. Oh god, oh god! There was literally nothing I could do. Like, that's a combo, huh? You get stuck in that combo there and you're done for. Okay. Axe is low, but choose a powerful weapon. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I could have chosen, if I'm not dumbass, I think I could have chosen like double stick or something. We'll see. Watch out for it, shots! Okay, okay. Ow. Just observe the patterns. Second phase. Okay. Why do I feel unsafe? Okay, so the dodge movement actually doesn't give like invincibility frames or anything, so that's interesting. What a big sword! Nah. Don't stay still, okay. A faster weapon might have been preferable, I feel. This is actually kinda interesting. I was trying to test if the dodge roll works. Like that you can dodge through those attacks. No, we go again. Also, load game? Does this give me the lives back or does it give me... Yeah, it's just like a retry, so... Yeah, if you do well, it's fine. I'm gonna actually... Okay, so there is a very small amount of invincibility in that, I think. No, doesn't feel like invincibility. It is just a little bit faster movement. Okay. Okay, I see. I'll go again, I wanna test it out. So I'm fairly certain that those skulls mean flawless also. 25 bosses. That's interesting. Is that just like different enemies? I don't know. Oh no. We'll just go with the fair victory because it's fine, but I'm interested to see. The enemies don't seem to be randomized at all, but it does seem... I wonder if the weapons are. Weapons that you can gain from the battles, so... Oh god, I'm not doing that well, huh? God, lost already one life there. I know for certainty that the skull isn't like a deathless because I did beat that one enemy without deaths, so... Yeah, the weapons are at least like, the weapons are randomized, so... That's interesting. Like, the super attack is always the same, so... Oh, god. Okay, okay. I don't know how to read that. Oh well. Oh, shield. No. This thing. This thing did seem like fairly easy. Now, he says and immediately dives into the easiest attack. I actually quite enjoy this. This is... I'm like I really do like boss rush games, so... I mean, I like Toho, so, you know. But I also really like Fury. It was such a really freaking good experience, so, yeah. Bias? Definitely. But it's... like, bias isn't inherently a bad thing to enjoy games that you like. It's important to just know what you enjoy. That is interesting. Super fast. Yeah, I'll take that. This seems fun. Oh. Because this means there's not that much hit lag. So it allows me to... I mean, my reflexes aren't that good, however. They're moderate, so, you know. A less punishing weapon is, I feel, a good choice. you can actually see from the posture. Okay, so the enemy's attacks are like very readable. Like it's like actually like the enemy's attacks are really well telegraphed in my eyes, I feel. So. Oh god, I wasn't supposed to stay there, so damn it. Okay, whatever. Just mash to death. Now, preferably, I'll kill it before. Oh, that's it. So that just basically homes completely in, huh? Okay. I feel. I have only 1 life left. Not doing too hot here, to be honest. No, I don't. I prefer these claws. Now it's really dead. This wizard multiplies. Watch out for its clones. Okay. I can barely reach it, huh? That's funny. Ah, okay. Ow. Took both hits, huh? Final life going on here. We'll see if this goes well. That was a big explosion. It is a bit of a shame that I can only like hit the wizard at the apex of the jump. So I could have easily defeated that. I don't think the claws are that good because they have such a limited reach. So I'll just go again because why not? I'll see if I can actually like properly beat the first enemy. Nope, can't. There is no quick reset button. Okay. I'll actually like properly try now. Ooh, close, close, close. Oh, you bastard! So close! Like 1 hit. Ah, damn it. That's a new weapon. I haven't seen this yet. Damn it! Damn it, damn it, damn it, I was doing so well! I'll try the Arnie arrow again, but like... I'll also see if I can, like... nail him. Okay, so that's the signal for that. Okay. Gotcha. Also, this hammer has a pretty... actually kind of good weapon, but there's a very small wind... Oh! No, that was the stagger animation, okay. Ah, pfft. Damn it. Okay. But like, there's a very... Damn. Okay. Like the stab with this is actually really delayed. Or rather has a really small hitbox, which, you know, makes sense. I don't want either of those. I mean, I guess I should have tried the sword and shield to see what kind of attack it has, but no thank you. Oh, pfft. Oh. I mean, this deals a lot of damage, but I don't actually really like this weapon. I would also like to have a window to attack. Goodness. Now, funnily enough, I haven't yet lost a life, though. Oh, pfft. Speaking of. Speak its name and it will appear, huh? This does pretty decent damage, but it's a bit annoyingly slow. It has at least some reach, so I don't know. It's fine. Let's see. I want to try to see how far I can go, so. Nope. Oh, no. I was reading it correctly, but I was just reacting wrong because it height of the blast that it shoots can be visible from how many those leg bands it has visible, I think, or like that's kind of an easy way to tell it. So. If I ain't mistaken. Yeah, mid and mid. Yeah. I mean, it works, so that's an easy way to tell that. So no, it isn't. It didn't work at all. Okay. It's more from the posture then. So I mean, there is this has a bit more of a grace to it, that or like a way to make it a bit, that thing that makes it a little bit like slightly easier, but makes it kinda, it's difficult to say, but the thing that the boss doesn't like have a reset when you die. So that's I don't know. good and bad, because in Fury it required you to be like actually like master all the enemies, so that you couldn't just health bomb rush them. But this game also feels like it kind of incentivizes you to optimize the enemies. Or at least learn them. Like, not do what I'm doing right now, which is getting my ass kicked. I'm not doing too hot. I'm doing well at all. Oh, I jumped right into it. Annoying. I feel like it would be better for me to just lose that on purpose, but so I can start there again, but no, we'll see. How far can I go with 1 life? Well, like 0 lives, I mean. Oh no, this is like... Yeah, the second swing barely reaches ever. So that's not a good weapon. Or rather, it's pretty hard to chain the second hit on the... Okay, so actually, attacking the clones actually does something. Okay. Or rather, it deals damage to the boss as well, so. But they do explode like really quickly, so I don't think there's much reason to attack them. Now, just because I do want to see as far as possible, we are going to be a little. We are going to be a little cow. Oh, the enemies are different. Or does that mean that they're skipped enemies? That is... I wonder if the enemies are either skipped or they add in between enemies. Or if there are unique enemies to the difficulties, so... Regardless, it's interesting. Actually, the starting blade is pretty decent, to be honest. I feel like the enemy takes a lot more damage, but that might be just like my gut instinct telling me. I don't know if there's actually... Oh, okay, yeah, nice. Whatever. Ah, no, whatever. I'll just try to bomb rush this like the whole way through if possible. So I don't know. It was such a pain to attack with that. Oh, that pit is a deadly pit. Okay. Oh, okay, so the legs are like a hitbox here. Okay. Interesting. Okay, that's a pretty small hitbox. I am a huge fan of boss rush games, and this feels like a very good boss rush game. So, okay. Ugh, okay. Wah! I jumped right into the pit. And I missed. Okay. That attack is silly. It's quite easy to avoid. It's very nice that the wings are a hitbox at least. So, and that is tracking apparently, or that's what it feels like. Come on. Good. Kind of easy to be honest. A spear. Wait, this is the... Yeah, this enemy again. So, the enemies are unique? I don't know. Oh, this is really fast. Oh god, the spear is good. Like, the spear just doesn't do a lot of damage, but that's fine. There's not a lot of use for this attack, though. Oh, that's yeah, that hitbox is a bit large. Okay. And now the invisible? It's at this... Okay, so it's also a bit shuffled. Okay. That is annoying to dodge that one. Yeah, they also do attack less often. I feel like I'm like fairly certain this enemy attacks so much slower, which does make sense because this is easy mode. So No? Just once. Okay. No, I was hand off controller. The worst decision to do, you know. Now the easy mode is like actually kind of like shocker. Easy mode is easy, so. Okay, so with the apex of your jump you can dodge that. Okay. That's good to know. What are these? That... Okay. Well, I mean, now I have reach. For what it's worth. Which is not a lot. I knew how, I had an idea how to dodge that. I was just bad. Okay. Interesting weapon. Oh, enemy, boss, thing. I actually kinda like this. Why is it just standing there menacingly? This... Okay, so... I know I haven't said a lot more than just like being very positive about the game, but the enemies are like actually like really well choreographed. Like, they telegraph their attacks so well, it's just actually like really fun, so... Ah, dang it! This definitely doesn't deal a lot of damage though, so... Oh, it got bigger, I feel. I'm like fairly certain it got bigger. Yeah. Oh, that is... okay, so... I think I know how to dodge that. Okay. Well, I did lose a life, so... Okay. Oh, right, this is the maze again. Whatever, it's fine. Another... A globe! That's cute. Ah, it is like that, huh? It has friends. If not, why? If not friend, why friend shape? No, but this is kinda cute though. Okay, those enemies fortunately don't have that many, but this is like a fun little game that's where you have to do a lot of crowd control as well, so. That's kind of neat. I actually very much enjoy that one. That's a really cool aspect. Oh, you poop. I think that thing is actually kind of cute, so. I lost a couple of lives there, that's unfortunate. Dual daggers, those were really good. Or, like, for me. Multiple sides, okay. Oh! Oh, that is such a cool, like, God of War boss, kinda. It looks so fun. That looks really cool. Oh, okay. It does like that, huh? It acts with both weapons at the same time. Other one stabbed and other one slashed. But they can alternate. Yeah, they... Okay, yeah. That is very cool. That's such a nice boss design. That is very nice. Like, I already lost a life. Whatever. I'm just, like, really interested to see what all the bosses are, so... Another daggers. Are those faces? Nice. Okay. Oh. I see. So that's how this is supposed to be dealt with. Okay. Oh, pff. Whoopsie. Huh? That wasn't an attack. Okay. Tornado. Seems fairly easy. I wonder what that shield actually does. Like, does it just make it invincible or something? I don't know. That was surprisingly easy. Eat good stick. Watch its legs closely to predict its attacks. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. That's the thing. Cool. Oh, don't run into the sides. Those are damaging. Okay. Ah. Okay, okay. This is actually like kind of an... I hate that my controller has a stupid ass turbo button. So, because this is a very... let's just say, not a good controller, like really cheap, so... But it's fun. another one whose legs are supposed to be... Oh, it's a spider. Spider. Something shot out from the back. Oh. Alright, that's... I'm just like trying to carefully observe the patterns. Ow. He says and gets hit. Oh, okay. It does feel though that you need to like actually like do some route memorization here, unfortunately. Ah. Okay. Oh, I lost a life again. Damn it. I mean, I got it. Am I even close to the top? I don't know. Hope you didn't have arachnophobia. Well, funny you should mention. That looks funnily grumpy. Okay. I don't know what the faces even are. Like, are they supposed to tell me the attack patterns? They certainly don't feel like they are telling me any attack patterns. Or are they? Oh, the next one was going to be some piss. Yeah, okay. Oh. I'm also on my last life here, so... Now it's going to be, yeah, this again. That is quite the thing that it can mix these patterns. Or have like two of those at the same time. Oh well, yeah, I think that's gonna be good for that. Yeah, I think that's good for that. I'm quite satisfied with what I've seen. So, we are going to move on to this screen and I'm going to pause the timer here. So, Nimbusfall. What did I think of Nimbusfall? So, I forgot to check the different difficulties, or the other difficulties, if they all have a different boss to them. But what I can say for certain is that it's a really actually fun boss rush game. I really loved Fury. Fury is such a top tier game. And while a lot of boss rush games are like not even like it is such a unique game that it's very difficult to imitate it. But I do like, just like in general, all boss rush games. And this feels like, I don't want to say derogatorily that this is another boss rush game, because that means that that sounds like I'm trying to demean it, and I am not. I really liked this game. It's has a very like solid art style. It's very like low fidelity pixel art in the way that it has huge polygons to it. But that doesn't mean that it isn't well animated. Au contraire, mon ami. The animations on the enemies are so good. Like, they try to do their hardest to make the telegraphs as easy as possible. So far, all of the bosses I've seen, which is something like close to 13 bosses or something. I don't know. I didn't keep count. I could perhaps try to recall them all. They all seemed very unique, and I really enjoyed how each of them have a unique, like they feel really distinct from one another. So there wasn't anything that felt like repeating, which, you know, that's kind of the point of a boss rush game. They should not feel like they are repeating patterns. And while they didn't feel like they were in the way that Fury is like teaching you constantly certain aspects of the game and building on top of one another, and it's just constantly iterating on learned styles of gameplay. This felt like each boss was its own beast completely, and you had to just completely adapt to the boss perfectly. Which is also kind of the point of the game, because there very obviously is a reward for if you clear the boss without taking a single hit. I think that is the other trophy there. That's what it feels like. And that requires quite a level of mastery. Now, I don't think the weapons themselves are necessarily that, like, tied to it. I'm very happy with the starting weapon that you are given, which is like a sword, just a basic sword. It's a very solid, it's like a very decent all-rounder, and I feel like that was a very good choice. It feels like it can very easily just clear all of the bosses. I don't exactly understand what the level up thing there meant. When you get a new weapon, it says level up. I don't think it didn't feel that you got stronger by picking up a weapon, but you just switched up. I just completely changed patterns, so I'm not sure, but it doesn't feel like there's any pseudo RPG elements there in the way of leveling up or anything like that, that you are obliged to keep switching a weapon. I could be wrong, I don't know. But I felt very happy with just finding the weapon I like and sticking to that, instead of constantly picking up a new weapon. I have to check if there's information on that, whether you need to should pick up a new weapon to get incrementally stronger. A lot of the enemies felt like they were perfectly tuned to the health, that you kind of just need to learn them, and they don't take annoyingly long, but they do require that you can't just like get lucky to avoid all of the damage. Now, one thing is that is similar with all boss rush games, and just in general with all bosses in difficulty games, and that is that there is some amount of trial and error, let's say. You need to learn by beating them. Like, you can't first time perfect them. They do have like patterns that are very difficult. Maybe the first boss, perhaps, if you come into it blind and you are very careful, you probably can intuit most, if not all, of the attacks. But a lot of the other bosses really felt like you can't actually like intuit their attacks. Especially that one that looked like a pillar of ice. So, yeah. Very decent controls. There is a fair amount of hit lag, but that is just like recovery frames when you attack. You just need to get used to it. It's a skill issue, as they say. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game as well. It makes it, of course, a risk versus reward when you attack, so you can't just mash. And there's just like a surprising amount of leniency. The dodge roll itself felt very unnecessary, because I felt like the dodge roll isn't a dodge roll per se, it's just a displacement tool that you can move faster. So, yeah, could maybe communicate that a bit clearer, but I think that became clear after testing it a couple of times that yeah, it doesn't avoid damage in the way that dodge rolls give invulnerability frames, which is fine. You need to actually just play bullet hell honestly, and that's perfectly fair. Some of the bosses do have like attacks that it feels very slightly unfair. Like the spider boss felt like you are. It's I'm very certain that it is impossible to first time clear that without taking a hit unless you're stupidly lucky with how you try to dodge attacks. But it is still like a very fair boss in that way, that you just kind of need to learn the patterns and then yes, you know, just keep repeating the boss and eventually you'll first time clear it. And that's fair. I think that's fine. It's yeah, I'm talking a lot. I in conclusion really liked it. It's very solid, very fun. It is a boss rush game, so you need to know what you're coming into ahead of time. Now, due to the nature of this gameplay system, I did not know that, but I don't mind that because I'm just happy that I accidentally have like some really good choices that I do like always keep. So yeah, very solid. The music is fine. I don't have anything to say about the music. Like nothing good, nothing bad. It's serviceable, and you know, if the music doesn't get grating, it's done its job. It doesn't feel like it went above and beyond, which is fine. It's totally fine for a game not to blow your mind. Yeah, I have nothing else. I very much enjoyed it. So yeah, Nimbusfall. Pixel art boss rush game. I wonder if the bosses are unique to the difficulties or not, or than just like adding more. Like if there's some bosses that only appear on easier difficulties because they would be too easy for harder difficulties. I don't know. Remains to be seen. Yes. Very, very enjoyable. I do want to complete this game later. So, that was Nimbusfall. We are going to have a minor break here. I need to drink my coffee. I'll have a little bit of a pause. But there is the title for the next game. I'll actually go back here and change the next game's name. Alright, and yeah. I will have a little brief break here and I'll be back with you in just a second. So, catch you in a moment.
rotting away. Of course, there's a lot of misery. The trees here are in misery, and the birds are in misery. I don't think they sing, they just screech in pain. But it is the same misery that is all around us. It's like a curse weighing on an entire landscape. And whoever goes too deep into this has his share of that curse. It's a land that God has created in anger. Even the stars up here in the sky look like a mess. Taking a close look at what's around us, there is some sort of a harmony. The harmony of overwhelming and collective murder. But when I say this all full of admiration. It is not that I hate it, I love it. I love it very much. But I love it against my better judgment.
Alrighty. So, let us move on to the next game, which is Ovivo. I think that's the name. I hope I'm saying that correct. I don't know. Regardless, it'll be time to see. If and when it opens. Suppose we'll just see that in a second. Oh, I didn't realize. So I'll mute it for a second. I had to mute myself also because I had a horrible sneeze. Alright. I think that sounds... it's a bit loud. It is a bit loud, ain't it? But there, also I'll... what does this even do? I don't know, but let's put it a bit like on the darker side. Abstract. Is this... I don't know what that is. Oh, those are just credits. Okay. No, it's still kinda loud. I'm trying to gauge just from random bars. That's difficult. But I suppose that is good enough. So, our next game is Ovivo, I think. That's how you say it. So, Ovivo. I like that everything is... This is such abstract game. Oh, I'll take my mouse off the screen, but very abstract at least. So there's everything's just communicated with. It's all shape. It's just shape. It's shapes. Oh, okay. So immediately I just pressed X on controller like just instinctively, and it does this. Oh, it actually gains. It gains a little bit of distance there. So that brings to mind an old Flash game called Shift. And that's good. That's nice. That's like a good childhood memory. So. Huh? Are those like eyes? Those are eyes. That's a disturbing thing. Oh. Don't walk into the spikes. The spikes hurt. So. Okay. Oh, okay. I like that you can like very freeform. Maybe I put it too quiet. Not like there's a lot of music so far. But there's such a freeform when you can like shift. Which is basically whenever, so. Ah! Okay, went too far. It's very... I don't know, liberal with how you can shift, so that's nice. Oh, see, I want to see where this goes. Okay, that also leads to death. Okay, that's just don't go too far into either direction. Okay, that's good to know. Oh. Oh, it's in. Oh, it is. Oh, it's mesmerizing. I'm positively enthralled because you kinda have to use... Huh? Question mark? No. Oh, that's a hint. Okay. Exactly what it was teaching there. You have to kind of use physics to like fling yourself. So you should fling yourself now. That is kind of funny. Okay, I didn't go at a right angle there. What is that? They're both below, so I wonder. What's gonna be the easiest way to get there? I wonder. Can I do something? What's gonna be the easiest way to do that? I don't know if there's gonna be an easy way to do that. Can I fling myself? What even is that? can I fling myself into that? Okay, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try though. Ah. It is a bit, it is... Maybe, challenging is not the right word for this. But this does inspire me to do stupid stuff. Or at least try to do stupid stuff and see the limits of the world like that. So... Oh, okay, not like that. Okay. Nope, that's not gonna work. Whatever, it's not that important. I guess I'll just continue forward without trying to interact with every little funky wonky thing. Eyes! That's funny. It's interesting. I don't think like most of these are supposed to be interacted with like that, so... At least it doesn't feel like it. Oh. Oh, that's something where you absolutely do want to... Is that the end of the level? Kinda. It looks like a cell. Like a not exactly like a mitochondria per se, but like a gut view of a cell. That's cool. Well, only one level to go to. An Ouroboros. I don't think that ink does anything, right? I mean, I can't exactly even do anything with it, so... It's just the visuals here. It's a very visually appealing game. I really like that. How do I describe it? Because this is kind of difficult to describe, or rather, not exactly difficult to describe, other than y'all are seeing this, right? Like, I don't need to explain why this looks intriguing, why it looks interesting. You might not personally find it appealing, but I find this extremely appealing, so... Because it's such a... stark contrast in colors. It's very, very intriguing. Of course, there's like... So, there were those hint moments there that, yeah, somebody could use. If needed. Story symbol? Okay. That's like a flame there. This is actually kind of really interesting, like as an idea to have a platforming challenge, platforming focused game in a sort of way where you don't have a jump button, like at all a jump button, and just like in general you don't actually have that many controls to begin with, so it is intriguing. And it feels very distinct, to say the least. Now, I did mention the Flash game earlier, the Flash game called Shift. And while, yes, of course, and that's not the only game that has done like this kind of black and white shifting purpose gameplay before. That's, and like I said then, I also continue saying here, that's not a derogatory thing. That's like, it brings to mind good childhood memories and nothing else. And I'm, of course, it's not the only one, so the inspiration is not, and there's other games, there's been other games that do that, this kind of thing, so that game cannot be attributed to it only. That's the one I remember from my childhood, though. I think it's inspired by another game that did something similar on an earlier console. I can't remember anything for that, though, so don't take what I just said as a gospel. But a lot of these games that do this kind of pseudo world shifting mechanic, they do it their own way in a it is a way for people to explore creativity with a very unique way that is very unique to the game's medium, which is interacting with reality in a very, very meta fashion. So I really, really like it when games do this kind of exploration with this in a unique, holistic feeling and make it like really their own. So because this I can say nothing has felt like this before. So because there's this kind of how to explain this feeling from the controls, because it's weird. It feels closest to something where you're trying to resonate a note perfectly to get this kind of nice movement going. It's very hard to describe without using some kind of animation, for example, but you're trying to like get a string to vibrate in a correct frequency and trying to like match like a balance to that. It's kind of, it's hard to explain exactly what I feel here, but that's kind of the vibe I get. That's how it feels like to me, of course, with my bias as a musician. So, and I don't know. I am just yapping about because it's really God damn it. It has a unique, like an artistic sort of feeling. Now, of course, all of the visuals also feel like they're conveying like a more of a ink blot sort of feeling, kind of in an abstract sort of way. It's hard to describe because this is all just vibes. So yeah, no, vibes are kind of hard to describe that way. It's regardless very nice. That's the ending there. So what I can say for certain is it that feels like a Rorschach test. What can you see here? I like it. It doesn't feel like anything I've played before. Despite not having, in the most technical of aspects, having nothing unique to it. Because there are games that don't have a jump button. It feels very... I'm trying to I'm trying to put it in this feeling into words. It feels like I don't know. It's maybe okay. This can sound strange. It feels artistically stimulating. It feels like it's tapping into my brain, trying to like get the creative juices flowing, like just like mesmerizing my mind in the way that something just like this feels like such a visually unique and distinct creation, and it really has my mind just wondering and trying to make sense of all the insanity here, like in a good way. It feels purpose made to scratch your brain, make it wonder, make it trying to stimulate your brain, and especially the creative aspects. So yeah, it's I don't know. I hope I made some sense, but I'm trying to convey something really abstract here. And something really stupid, because my mind is just completely my head's kind of cooked, so my mind is an enigma, not in a good way. That's not to make me sound mysterious. That's meant to make me sound like an insane rambling lunatic, which is fair. That's like the closest description you can ever give me. It is really lovely. I really do like this. So okay, I'm gonna like concentrate on the game a bit more now. Well, not that I was concentrating the whole time, but like I'm gonna try to do something a bit. Okay. I don't think that triangle is supposed to be like touched. It feels like it wants to be touched. That's a weird way to say that. Oopsie. When they say games aren't an artistic medium, I laugh. Oops, slipped. It is I'm okay. So that's the reason I was keep going like. Okay. So the reason I keep talking. Now, of course, ADHD is one of the biggest reasons for it. But one of the reasons why I also have to keep talking is because if I don't, I get completely just like. Okay, it's not a bad thing, but I get completely sucked into the game, and I'm like easily mesmerized. Okay, how do I... Actually, I think this will do just fine. No. How do I get there? Nope, that didn't work. I want that. I have an idea. Not like that. Definitely not like that. Okay. I think that movement is gonna work. Okay, so now I have run into an actual challenge here. Like an actual platforming puzzle. What the hell? You can actually like buffer the shifting, so okay, I think that might do it. Nope. Well, it might have. I need to full send it. Maybe. That is hard. That is kind of difficult. That is a bit more difficult than I expected it to be. That's actually kind of good though, because it's good. It's good for a game to challenge you. So. Hey, did you know games are pretty good when they're challenging? Really? No shit. Okay. That is not gonna work. It's also pretty nice that this isn't exactly obvious what to do here, so. Or at least the solution isn't too obvious here, so. Okay. Oh, whoops. That amount of friction there is though kinda like why am I trying to, because I just need to, can I control this with, oh yeah, you can. Okay. Oh, whoops. Got it. I don't know how I fumbled that so long there. Okay. Oh. So, yeah. Did I finish my thought even earlier? So, the thought I was trying to say or convey, if I don't keep talking, this game really pulls me into a trance. It it has a sort of a hypnotic sort of feeling to it, that it does mesmerize me like shockingly well. It has a sort of a hypnotic feeling to it. In a good way, I'd say. That's hard to exactly explain. Okay, that's that is definitely a thing there. Oh, whoops. Okay. Okay, that was easy enough to get. Huh. Those achievements. I haven't mentioned the names, but all of those story symbols have popped up an achievement, and they have very evocative name. So I wonder why. Oh, whoops. I flopped that one completely. Oh, whoops. That's not where I'm supposed to do that, so. Am I supposed to go... What direction exactly? To the right? To the right. Okay. There's that. Okay, so I don't know if those dots actually are an important collectible, but they certainly do feel important. And if nothing else, they do guide you along the way where you're supposed to go. And my god, that is a lot of animals. Oh my god, that is cool. Sorry, this is wallpaper worthy. This visual, this is, there's, oh my goodness, that looks cool. There's so many different cool visuals you can, like so many different, and it's, I am at a loss for words. That looks, the fact that that's also the platforming of, I didn't mention that because I think that was self-evident, but I'll just say it for the posterity's sake. The fact that we are like platforming on this like this creature, this artwork here. The fact that the artwork itself is like the platforming challenge as well is amazing. The fact that it's also translates into such a very well built climbable environment. Now there's of course a lot of artifice to where exactly you can move. You can see a lot of the places where they have placed like those L-shaped blocks where, and those teardrop kind of things, where it's kind of there necessarily for movement, but that doesn't exactly distract from this beautiful abstract stark contrast creating artwork just that feels like it's, and even then, even those like teardrops like specifically feel like they just bleed so well into this whole scene. The L-shaped blocks not so well, but everything actually they are also kind of fine. It's, god, this looks beautiful. My mind's just racing with all the little details, just... holy it's... my mind's racing through this view, constructing different stories and visions and metaphors, and it's... yeah. Top notch. Beautiful, magnificent. It's so good. Okay, that's just deadly. I'll have to check what the those story glyphs actually had there, what the names were. So the only reason I kind of struggled with that earlier, that one glyph, was because I'm not very good. It wasn't exactly difficult, I was just bad, so... Oh, it's good. that previous scene just... It has... Oh my... Ooh. Let me see. It's a butterfly. It's... No, I want to see. That thing is taunting me. I want to I need to observe it. I wish to see. I need to see it. I need to behold. Well, I'll see it later. But it's... Okay, so this now feels a lot more closer to ink blot tests than anything else. So, is there anything on the right side here? No, not specifically. Unless this is where I'm supposed to go. This is probably where I'm supposed to go. This is very likely where I am supposed to go, huh? So I will not. I'll check the other route. I don't know if there's like a branching path where to go here. So there's at least that story glyph. So I think that story glyph's the only thing that you can get from here. Oh, that is actually... Okay. So there is an actual little platforming challenge here. Cool. Got it. Okay. Yeah, a little platforming challenge. I'm done. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. Okay. Whoopsie. I thought I shifted. Apparently didn't. Oh, that failed. That also failed. Where does this... Okay, it was at this... The checkpoint system is kind of lenient. And it's also a pretty invisible checkpoint system, so... Oh my. Oh. No, there is other things to do there. Yeah, this is faster way to get up. No, no. This is not the right way. I think there is a pathway there that I can go. Definitely not like that, though. No, I'm like convinced there's another pathway. Am I just crazy? Maybe. Maybe I am. Or maybe I'm very dumb. Okay, no, this is... Okay, yep, no, this is where I'm supposed to go, but... this will loop back up in a bit, I think. Maybe. Quite certainly. Oh. That is such a unique platforming challenge there, I love it. It is a bit funny there. It's that, okay, those are, that's a very, those platforms are, I kind of like how that, I don't know how to describe that feeling. No, I need to keep like the momentum here. Uh-oh. Yeah. Expect that there to be a platform here that is like a safety net, so. Or a save point rather. Dang it. Hello, moth. Damn it. Okay. Alright. That's... Dang it, I should have input that. Okay. Difficult. Difficult, but more importantly, I'm bad. Okay. Now, again, input error. Yeah, now I need to go that direction, so... Okay, that's not the way to do it. No? Why do I feel like I missed something? I'm like quite certain I missed something. I'm really certain I missed something. Well, that was the first glyph here, so that I found, but I feel like I missed one glyph, but I don't know where. No, I got that one glyph, so that's the second glyph here. Wait. That's not the right direction. That's not right either. There was a save point here. My goodness. Or a checkpoint, rather. That means I need to climb a bit back up. Well, I already kinda have this part down in a manner of speaking, at least. He says and falls to his death, confidently. That's how you preserve momentum. No, we are going to come up there. This is just kind of looping in a funny way. Or zigzagging, rather. Just solid, okay. Well. That is... Okay, that is a challenge. To get on that. But how? Well, there's actually like a couple of ways, so let me see. What is going to be the easiest? Or rather, maybe not the easiest way. But the one way I can do it. So this pedass just kinda accidentally did it. Okay. Well, at least I did it. So, you know. That is the important part. Don't know. Now I need to, like, be safe with my momentum. That is intriguing. Like, be careful with how much momentum you gain. That is definitely a thing. I am... No, I think... No, that was all, so... There was another way to do that, but I just took the easy way out, I guess. Yeah. I can see just a crap ton of faces here, and like people and creatures. Like, there's a lot to speak. There's more. There's more. I think that's a good place to stop. I think my reaction sums quite well. Yes, I am quite satisfied with that and how I reacted, my reaction to that revelation. So, Ovivo. There is a lot to say. I have a lot to say, but I already spoke a lot during the gameplay, so I'm going to keep this a lot shorter than I thought I or rather, how I don't want to speak too much on this because this game is mostly uh, it has a certain je ne sais quoi to it. It is a really mood, like a vibe based game. It is very visually appealing. It feels like with all of the games that are dealing with the same kind of mechanic of shift, that you shift between two worlds that have a reverse gravity. It's one of those games, a platformer sort of thing, and on its surface, that is like, well, very 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 surface level. That's what it is. It's a game where you alternate between two worlds that have different gravity to it, or rather reversed gravity, opposite directional gravity. But that is just if looking at stills basically, because everything else about the game feels it probes you to think, imagine, delve into your own mind and just interpret the visuals and the it, okay. The controls feel very very fluid and smooth. You can input during the flight. You can input very very quick. Like you can always buffer the shifting when you're in the other world, so you can like completely buffer it very 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 well in advance, and it really is very lenient with that mechanic. There's a lot of checkpoints because of the hazards, and it doesn't interrupt the gameplay at all if you fail. And even in the more little challenging aspects where you need to collect the story clips, they weren't really that insanely difficult. Somewhat challenging, perhaps, but that's because I am bad at games. So, it in the control aspect, it feels very good. Visual aspect, it is a very stark contrast game, black and white, and it is very, very visually distinct in the way that it has. The platforming consists of artwork, so to speak. Now, very cubism artwork, very not sometimes surreal, but most of the time very stylized artworks or something that you could like easily interpret. It sometimes felt like you were going through inkblot tests, and when the level finishes, you zoom out and see the whole level and all of the artwork that it is depicting, and it is like a beautiful, beautiful mural. I wonder if there's some way to get those as screenshots, as screensaver, as a like a background for your PC or phone, because they were beautiful. Especially the second level, just filled with animals, and just it felt so gorgeous. It it made my mind race with different interpretations and vivid visuals that I now, of course, that's because I have a lot of passion for fantasy, and I am a storyteller, not by trade, of course, not by trade, but like by passion and by heart. And this game specifically feels like it invites you to. It tries to stimulate your creative mind. The music is an integral part to it. It feels like the music is trying to lull you into a trance state, trying to get you to separate from reality and just flow into one with the art. It is an ephemeral sort of feeling. I don't know how well this would appeal to like the mass audience, but my mind is kind of swirling. It is. It did its job for me. I'm filled. I'm ecstatic with anticipation. My mind is just flowing with the game. It feels surreal. Yeah, in case my little description here wasn't obvious, I really like this. It's so beautiful. It's so very very beautiful, and there's more to collect. Now, the game on the side of the gameplay aspects, there's some little pips that are like little story collectibles that guide you along where you're supposed to go to the end of the level. And they do a fantastic job of signposting without being explicit about it. Now, there was literally zero tutorials anywhere. There was a hint system that if you got stuck on something in the early level, the first level specifically, there popped up hints that showed you how to manipulate the momentum to launch yourself at higher speeds and velocities to gain more distance, but that felt very, very intuitive to me. So I didn't exactly, those were unnecessary to say the least. But good that they are there, for people who might not feel it so intuitively. Yeah. I want to finish this. I will finish this soon. This is gonna be like one of the highest contenders for like something that I want to play again as soon as possible. It's good. It's really I wasn't expecting this emotion. But I'm happy I did. It's good. It's so good. It's really good. One of the most unique experiences I've had in now. Like, this is a very unique experience. I liked it so very, very much. Is this even like a... okay, price is always a bit of a, like, non sequitur. But I do need to check it this time. Because this is easily going to be... Okay, it's 10 euros. That makes sense. That feels a bit cheap, but that feels more than fair. So, yeah. It is more than fair. It's less than 10 euro. That is... I don't think I actually got this for 10 euro. I think I got this at a sale. It's good. I need to buy this for a certain artistic friend I have. Artistic, not autistic. Actually, one of my autistic friends also, another alongside me. I wonder how they would feel about this. I need to talk with them about this, because I wonder if this is something that has to do with autism, or if with the artistic side, or just because I have an overactive imagination. I need more data. What sort of people? What exactly in this game evoked this feeling in me? I need more of this. Yeah, good. Yeah, excellent game, obviously. God, I'm blindsided by that game. You could say I'm beyond the moon. So, which is funny because the Nimbusfall game had to do with moon. So, once again, I'll take a little break before we go on to the last game of this stream. I need to cool down a bit, as might have been apparent from how much I was rambling about it. So, rest assured, that was something else. That's a really annoyingly hard act to follow for any game. My goodness. That's a little longer title than I expected it to be, but okay. Alrighty. So, I'll see you all in like 5 minutes or so. Alrighty then, so I am practically ready. Got my mind kinda cleared up. Let me just go here, update that, with that, Apocalypse. Out of the forest, I think the name was. Right? Maybe. Heart of the Forest. Yeah, correct. Okay. Now let's see the final game. Let us be. Oh god, that title is long. That didn't fit. Okay. Walk Bear, World of Darkness. Oh, it's World of Darkness? Hello, to make our games better and for marketing purposes, we'd like to collect some information about your experiences. Fully optional. Nah, I consent. I am very much fine with giving my data. If this is... I wonder if this is like actually based on the... If the license is for the World of Darkness, because I have played a little bit in the World of Darkness, so there's I'm going to take a dyslexic friendly font because of rather obvious reasons. So yeah, the style kind of breaks. However, legibility is a bit more important to me. I'll check the audio for a second here. So yes, it's fun that you can like change the font here, and I'm happy that they gave 2 different fonts. I am personally not clear which one of these is better for most this or hard of reading comprehension, so I kind of have to I would have to ask another person, so or someone who is who has dyslexia. So I do know a couple, so the sounds are a little bit too loud, so I'll put that a bit faster and I'll get it on stream. I'm like a annoyingly fast reader, so is it? It's hard to say if that's okay. Just to be on the safe side, I'll put it a little bit quieter, and that is hopefully not too loud. Actually, a bit quieter yet still. Okay, so Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest. It's said that this is based on the Heart of Darkness setting. I wonder. Or it might be. That's kind of what it felt. I'm not gonna click on that. I'll just go with the new game. So, let us see. Prologue. Premonition. Start the chapter. This is a game about rage and how it helps us do things that need to be done, as well as things that we later regret. Sometimes both. How do you feel about that? I'm okay with anger when it's useful. Your rage is balanced. So you're the critical and analytical type. That's okay. There is no right path here, just your decisions and their consequences. Let's start already. We have a story to tell. Inspiring. The forest. The woods are full of stars. They flicker, come closer, run away. They want me to chase them, to play hide and seek. I hunt. That gives our character sheet here. Neat. They dance around the tree trunks, float up on the gusts of wind. No, I'm gonna have to be reading, so actually I put this a bit fast. Anyway. Float up on the gusts of wind that shiver through the branches, disappear among the leaves. I let out a howl, eager to run with them. I want everyone to know I am there. Then they bunch up and fly toward me like an arrow. Rushing down, they are soon upon me, but just before the spear of light pierces my breast, they disappear, and the dark of night returns. In the darkness, I feel the tangled roots of stories keeping the forest alive. I hear the spirits asking me to judge the enemy. I open my eyes, and then I wake up. I am a hobbit. Maya. Okay. Cold and alone, Confused, I open my eyes. The forest around me is thick and dark and reeks of decay to such an extent that it is hard to breathe. I recognize this forest. I know this place. I've been dreaming about this forest since I was a child. The tree trunks, wrapped tightly in dark-leaved ivy, are covered in ripples of lichen where the vines haven't taken hold. The thorny, leafless bushes at their bases are overrun with nettles. The fungi radiate with a ghoulish, sickly green light. Dark, sponge-like mushrooms cling to the fallen trees. Something is rotten. I can shake the feeling that something died nearby. I look down and see my hands covered in dark substance. I'm naked. A sticky, glistening film of liquid is clinging to my skin. I can feel it in my face, in my hair. Blood. What's happening? I have no idea what's happening, but stories start forming in my mind. Someone has drawn strange symbols on my skin in the drying blood. Was it me? There is a severed head right in front of me. Some choices are hard to make, and they strain your willpower. I wince and touched. Overcoming my disgust, I gently touch its wet hair and watch as the head topples over. The face is contorted, the eyes bulging, the mouth open as though the head was still struggling for air. I balk because I recognize who it is, and then eyes open in the darkness. Who is it? I can see their silhouettes, shades of jet black against the darkness. They smell of fur and moss and bloodied earth. Massive creatures, some with horns, some with antlers. Their eyes burn like small, fiery windows into hell. I look at them and something wakes inside me. Sadness. They tell me stories of their lost battles and dying hopes, and I sink with sorrow. I sit and listen and cry with them. Then I swear to punish those who have wronged them. In a moment of clarity, I almost understand what the forest wants from me. And then I wake up. Chapter 1, Arrival. Maya Borodich. Very inspiring, a little bit of brave, analytical and spiritual. No cunning though. Dreams. Maya, wake up! High rage. I jerked upright, irritated. Wow, I can hover here. Okay. Health is life falls. Okay. I jerked upright, irritated. My neck was stiff, and the movement sent a sudden, sharp wave of discomfort through my body. I wasn't in the forest anymore. I was in a bus. The sun streaming through the windows was making it hard to see. The girl next to me was touching my shoulder disturbed. I pushed her away. She's cautious. Without a second thought, I pushed her away, adrenaline surging through me. When your rage is high, you might say one, two things you later regret. What's wrong with you? She recoiled, looking hurt and scared. It was a while before she said anything. You were crying in your sleep. I blinked. The memory of the dream was still there, and the wet stench of decay. I was glad I wasn't alone. Thank you for coming with me, I said. The girl next to me shrugged. Her name was Anya. We'd met a couple of weeks earlier on the orientation day. She was from Norway, a tall, broad-shouldered, calm person who wore her long hair in braids. Somehow I'd managed to talk her into this crazy field trip across the land of my ancestors. We were there to study medicine. We'd both come to Poland for the same reason, to study medicine. It was less expensive here, and we'd both received government scholarships. So, did you want to become a doctor, or... She asked when we first met. The human body is fascinating. Yeah, the game tracks decisions. They will accumulate and gradually reveal what kind of person she is deep in her heart. The story changes to reflect the personality. The way the human body works is fascinating, with all its organs, interconnections, and complicated chemical reactions. I couldn't see myself as a doctor, though. Treating people day in, day out, rushing to help them. I wanted to be a lab researcher, or a coroner. Anyway, I found a scholarship. That's why Anya and I were on a bus to Werewolf Huh? I don't know. I am not proficient at Polish. Apologies for that. A small village in the northeast Poland near the border with Belarus. It was famous for its national park, the very last European bison, and according to a quick web search, occasional tension between far-right troublemakers and the local Belarusian community. She was having second thoughts. Anya reached into her backpack and took out an apple. She turned away from me and bit into the fruit. I reached into my bag and fished out a bunch of cabanossi. Cabanos! Good old cabanossi! Dried meaty sausages that were so much better than the original Polish ones back in the US. Anya still looked like she regretted meeting me. People often did, actually. Girl, you're a lot to handle, she said after our lengthy silence. I'm not sure if I have the bandwidth for so much drama in my life. This trip was my idea. Our summer language course was starting in a few weeks, and I'd managed to talk Anya into skipping the tours of concentration camps and old churches and visiting Białowieża National Park with me instead. Remind me, why are we here again? She asked with her arms crossed. Good question. Why were we there? The most honest answer would have been because I've been dreaming about the forest in Białowieża since I can remember. But people didn't understand when I said things like that. I looked her in the eyes. I told her as much as I could. It's complicated. I wanted to see the forest. I heard it was a must. That wasn't technically a lie. When I was little, my grandfather told me stories about an ancient forest full of wonders and the wolves that lived in it. It was all I got from that part of the family before my family took me, ran away, and cut off all contact with my dad. But I remembered the stories well, and I remember the name of the forest. Puszka Białowieża. Białowieża. I should learn Polish at some point. This will always be our home, my grandfather used to say it. I waited for her to respond. Anya fell silent for a moment, but she still looked like she regretted coming with me. I think we should split up for a while, she said finally. I already have a list of places I want to see. I'd just slow you down. What a nice way to say fuck off. And that was precisely why I needed to do something, anything about my future, that damn forest and my weird-ass family. I had a clear goal in mind. I wasn't there by mistake. I'd planned this trip, for months with a clear goal in mind. I had to learn the truth about my roots. My grandfather's stories, the secrets, my mother running away. There was mystery in my past. It was a time I uncovered the truth about who I was. But now I wasn't so sure if it'd been a good idea. Welcome home. Anya took her luggage and disappeared as soon as we got off, leaving me at the deserted bus stop. Anya left. Java looked like an overexposed photo of a village with the contrast turned all the way up. The sun wasn't just shining, it was shouting at the earth, and everything, the trees, the grass, the wooden houses, the fences, seemed weathered. Everything except the shadows. They were sharp, as though they were freshly printed with the darkest of inks. And they moved. For a second, I could have sworn they moved, but then I realized it was just a black cat walking down the sidewalk. When it saw me, it stopped in its tracks. I watched it with suspicion. Were rabbit cats a thing? I wasn't sure, and I definitely wasn't interested in finding out the hard way. I looked around. A friend was supposed to pick us up from the bus stop, but he wasn't there, and the cat was still staring at me. For a moment, I was tempted to just get off. I was tempted to just get out of the sun and worry about my missing friend later. But the meeting was just too important. His name was Bartek. I'd met him online while researching Białowieża. The man knew everything there was to know about local history. I asked him to check if anyone in town remembered my grandparents. I hoped he'd found something, and so I waited. And the creepy cat waited with me. Bartek was 15 minutes late, flustered and apologetic. It was his dad's company, he explained while catching his breath. He had to help him out with some paperwork. I didn't really care. You're late, I snapped, and there was something in my voice that made him take a step back. He was tall, broad-shouldered, had freckles all over his face. Come on, I'll take you to your place. His accent was broad and very Eastern European. Anya would have liked him. Anya would have taken an immediate liking to him. He was totally her type. But she wasn't there. Her loss. We walked along the only street in the village, slowly making our way towards the outskirts. The trees were growing denser, their scent becoming richer and more pronounced. I took a deep breath. So, did you manage to trace the name I gave you? I asked. Bartek shook his head. Nothing, absolutely nothing, sorry. He was avoiding my eyes. A trickle of sweat ran down his temple. He was lying straight to my face. What the fuck, man? I threw my arms in the air. You wrote me a few days ago that you had something. But he just climbed up. You know what? I think you should drop it. I stopped. Choice. And unleashed all my charm. I turned to Bartek and looked him right in the eyes. I put a hand to his chest. I really had no plan after that part, so I panicked and felt a sudden urge to do something unnecessary and over the top. I looked him deep in the eyes. I leaned toward him and looked him deep in the eyes. I hoped he'd see how important it was to me, but he just blanched and jerked back. I didn't give up. Tell me what you found, I asked, not giving up. Well, he brushed his forehead with the back of his hand. I did ask. I started with the old people here. I told them that my friend from the States was looking for her roots and wanted I wanted to know about the place from her family. I wanted to know about the place her family came from. You know the drill. At first, people were very, receptive. I waited for the other shoe to drop. And then I mentioned your name. He shook his head. I need a moment to calm down. Hehe. We walked in silence for a long time. Finally, I nodded, and he continued his story. One of the old men here told me to go to hell, and the other spat on the ground, and his wife crossed herself. For a moment he looked younger and smaller. And then my own grandmother told me to stop asking. She said something else as well. I tensed up. What? I asked. She told me to pray for you. Suddenly, the sweet golden afternoon wasn't so sweet and golden anymore. I felt shivers run down my spine. My grandma would pray for me all the time when I was little. I felt shivers run down my spine. We walked in silence, but my mind was in overdrive. People didn't want to talk, and that could only mean one thing. I was on the right track. Okay, I know for like 20 minutes I've been just quiet and reading this and playing the game, because I need to... Okay, so with novels like this, it is annoying that I cannot actually give constant feedback and opinions and just like blabber on, because I need to read. Hopefully, because there's a lot of choices here, you can see that I'm kind of doing on instinctive choices, but I'll just pause every now and then to give my opinions, like now. And I can say I do like visual novels a lot, and this is like very, very good. So far, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like this. I like this quite a bit. My pulse quickened and I tensed up like a hound that's smelled blood. I was on the right track. Every time you learn or do something significant that brings you closer to your goal, you regain willpower. Bed and breakfast. Piavoviazza had a few hotels and hostels, but the preferred form of accommodation was bed and breakfasts. That's where we stayed. I found one that was nice, clean, and that had good reviews. We had a room on the second floor with a huge window and a great view of the forest. I dropped off my stuff and freshened up a bit. Bartek said a few hasty goodbyes and disappeared, and Anya was nowhere to be seen either. The day was hot and I was restless. I decided to head out. Before you go, check your character sheet. I can see everything. Cautious. Yeah, it's complicated. People were scared of my family. They didn't even want to hear the name. And I have a goal of mystery. I see. Piavoviazza was a quaint tourist town, but I had other things in mind. The lay of the land. I had a clear goal in mind. My family was entangled with this town and the forest. I had to uncover my roots. I choose the Piavoviazza town. I walk around the village. When I realized that I had no idea where to go, I swallowed my pride and called for help. Bartek joined you. We walked through the village, bathed in the sharp rays of the summer sun. It was a lazy afternoon. I'm just reminded of the Kingdom Hearts song. Disturbed only by the occasional passing car throwing up clouds of dust that hung in the air long after the vehicle was gone. The children were screaming and playing as they made the most of their summer vacation. The adults were relaxing or working in their yards, dogs were barking, and every cat we passed froze to look at us. People went about their day, though, giving us weary stares from time to time. The cats behaved strangely. What's with the cats? I asked as we passed a tabby who stopped in the middle of the sidewalk to meow at us. I don't know. They're cats. Maybe they want to make up for the village's manners. Bartek shrugged. You know, some people are wary of newcomers. Yeah, tourists could be assholes. I understand, I sighed. Tourists can be assholes. Yeah, but there's not only tourists here. Bartek scratched his neck, embarrassed by the topic. There's a small conflict around the forest, you know, and it's attracting some weird people. Activists, reporters, bored rich kids, he said as though his dad didn't own multiple businesses. People like that. And they are getting on the locals' nerves. Fair enough. I nodded. It didn't explain the cats, though. Well, you're not one of those crazies, and you're like almost local, he smiled. So what would you like to see in the village of your ancestors? I'm really bad at accents, so. He spread his arms as if to show me all of the splendor the village had to offer. What do you suggest? Cats were watching my every move as we walked along the empty streets. The cemetery. Family graves. Matters of the soul. So we have quite a few churches here, Bartek explained as we walked down the road. 2 Orthodox, 1 Catholic, and even 1 Baptist church, he said, as though it were something uncommon. I don't know which one of these exactly, but Baptist is, in Europe, kind of an uncommon one. Well, so I asked about it, because... And what's so special about that? I wasn't sure what he meant. He looked at me a bit disoriented and then it hit him. Oh, of course, you're not from here. Well, Poland is almost exclusively Catholic. So it's a bit uncommon to have all these denominations in one small village. I'm not surprised about Orthodox, because Orthodoxy, especially in Eastern Europe, is very common. So that's like everywhere. At least like 1 or 2, so like randomly. So it's a bit uncommon to have all these denominations in one small village. He led me to a cemetery with a small wooden church in the center. Anyway, even though we have all these churches, there's only one cemetery. The church was Orthodox, but the graves were a mishmash of faiths. Catholics, Orthodox, atheists, everyone resting together. The place reminded me of a forest. It's like in the forest, I said, looking at the spruces among the graves. It's full of death. What's fallen stays where it fell. There's all kinds of trees, bushes and animals. And life is growing out of it all. Bartek didn't look convinced. Yeah, maybe. He looked at the cemetery, and for a moment he seemed lost in his thoughts. All of my family lies here, he said. I mean, the ones that are dead. What do you think? What do you think happens when you die? You left an echo. You echo for some time. Or ripple, you know. I think that everything in this world has a trace. I was looking for the right word. An aura, emanation, call it what you want. And it doesn't dissolve right away. Bartek seemed unsure. Is that like a New Age thing? He looked over the cemetery fence. Well, anyway, this is it. The spiritual heart of Białowieża. We can go see something else if you like. So that's where we stood. I wanted to go in, and that asshole stood in my way. I do want to keep the rage low, so I just went in. Not so fast. I want to look for my family here, remember? I smiled, opening the gate. Bartek shifted uncomfortably. I don't know if that's a good idea. But why? Well, why? I turned to him surprised. I mean, I told you, people have weird reactions. Maybe it's better to leave it alone. I just looked at him for a minute. Show me, I demanded. He sulked a bit, but in the end he led me through the labyrinth of graves to the far end of the cemetery. We continued. The walkways were very narrow, and the whole place seemed quite chaotic. Catholic crosses, Orthodox crosses, no crosses at all. Huge statues and simple gravestones. Graves you couldn't see because of all the flowers. And graves that seemed completely forgotten. And then I saw the woman. Tall, broad-shouldered, and long-legged, with grey dreadlocks pinned to the crown of her head. She must have been in her late 40s or early 50s. She was marching through the walkways with fury in her eyes. Bartek quickly stepped between the graves to get out of her way. I walked on, ignoring her. I just kept going. She just kept going. And inevitably, we bumped into each other. Hey, watch your fucking step, she growled. I smiled at her. We both should, actually. That, or maybe the fact that I answered in English, stopped her in her tracks. She chuckled. Yeah, apologies. Rough day. I let her go. With that, she left. I asked Bartek about her. Who was that? I asked, watching the woman leave. Bartek winced. That's Olga. She's a local activist. She left Białowieża. When she was 18 or something, and returned a few years back with the notion that she was going to change this place. We continued to the far corner of the cemetery. There, seemingly forgotten and covered in moss, was a lonely grave. It was damaged. The tombstone was broken deliberately. Someone had obviously smashed it with a hammer. The name was half erased. The plaque was also damaged. Someone had tried to scratch out the name, but the letters were still visible. There was a circle around the grave. There was a circle of coarse salt around the grave. I'm sorry, Bartek sighed. I didn't want you to see that. Was it because of me? Is it because you asked about me? I asked through clenched teeth. He shook his head. The first thing I did when you gave me that name was come here. It was already like that. I looked at Bartek, hoping for some context. Bartek put his hands in his pockets. So, you don't know anything about your dad's side of the family? He asked me cautiously. Whatever happened at least 70 years ago. And someone still remembers. He had a point. I don't know them. My mom left my dad when I was just a kid, so I don't remember much, I admitted. And she kept me away from them. She doesn't even know I'm here. I didn't tell her that I was visiting Piavo Viazzo. Oh, okay, so perhaps we should go? It's clearly upsetting you. Yeah, I guess. I looked at the grave. I looked at the grave for the last time. My family's name looked strange, written in unfamiliar Belarusian letters. As we were leaving, I was thinking. I was onto something. There was something unnatural about my family. And me coming to Piavo Viazzo had stirred some old demons. I just had to find out what my ancestors were doing there, who they were. With that thought, I left the cemetery. I guess we'll go to village center. The day was hot and beautiful, yet I couldn't stop thinking about the devastated grave. Let's go to the village center. New friends, hidden tensions. A bird of many colors. Nothing much happens here, said Bartek as we walked through the quiet village. Nothing moved. The heat was stifling. The village was really quaint. It's quaint, I carefully admitted. Is that a nice way of saying it's a shithole? Bartek made a disgusted face and we burst out laughing. I was thirsty. Let's get something to drink, I proposed. I'm parched. The local store was a large mini-mart, with all kinds of goods from beer and vegetables to notebooks and pens. There was a bench near the entrance, and on it were a few local drunks. I prepared myself for a confrontation, but nothing happened. They threw me an appraising glance, murmured something, and let us be. Why the fuck would I stir up trouble? I mean, I kind of have an idea why. But no, I assessed the threat. They are drunk and no threat, I said, assessing the situation. We can always walk away, and if they try to stop us, all it'll take is a firm push, 1 or 2 kicks, and then we can make a run for it. I didn't think you knew such dirty tricks. Bartek looked at me with mock respect. My stepdad sent me to self-defense course when I was 12. I shrugged. To help me with my anger management issues. We spent some time inside browsing the Latvian, Lithuanian and Belarusian goods. Why was there almost nothing Polish here? And who in their right mind drinks coriander soda? I was... that's... honestly, not that weird. Coriander, that's a bit... That is a bit strange. But not the strangest thing ever. I was putting the soda back on the shelf when we heard a commotion coming from outside. Loud voices. Some slurs, some curses, and a clear, mockingly polite, "I'm so sorry, darlings. I don't understand. Do you like my skirt?" Ah, fuck, Bartek murmured under his breath. I looked outside. There was someone standing next to the drunkard's bench. They were definitely not local. That person was old. Not helpless granny old, but old, with deep wrinkles and a narrow mouth. They had the unisex grace of a tired, heroin-preserved rockman. Their shoulder-length disheveled hair completed the look. I totally ducked their style. They had a peculiar style, fashion that you rarely see even in the US. It looked great on them. They had a clean shave, and eyes highlighted with eyeliner. Their nails were painted in bright blue. They wore heavy army boots, an outrageously red skirt, a tank top, and lots of leather jewelry. On their back there were pins, lots of pins, all kinds of LGBTQA plus flags, anarchist and pacifist symbols, and I think some German band stripes? Mom would have told me to stay out of it. Don't get involved, my mother always told me. You keep getting into trouble. You don't want to get into trouble abroad, where there's no one to help you. But that was the problem, wasn't it? I always managed to get involved. I just couldn't let it go, even now. I approached the foreigner. I smiled on, ignoring the men. Approached the foreigner. Hi, I'm Maya, and I just got here, I said. They looked at me with a serene smile. Nice to meet you, Maya, they said with an unmistakable German accent. I'm Kim. I suggested. We started talking. What brings you here, I asked. In Białowieża, I mean. I came to see the forest. And to protect it. They sounded deadly serious. Me and my friends heard about what's happening here, and we decided to come and help. The men on the bench were looking at us grimly. Hey, someone said suddenly from behind our backs. Kim smiled, and the men on the bench stiffened. Stifened? God, I'm it's just fumbling. I turned around. The woman approaching us had the longest, thickest braids I'd ever seen, as thick as my arm. There was something faintly Asian about her facial features, and the men on the bench looked at her with deference. You should stop drinking that moonshine. It makes you pick fights you can't win, she said. She looked ferocious. And the drunks started explaining themselves. But look at this, Eltunios, said one of them, gesturing towards us. For the last fucking time, the name's Lisa. Lisa. She pronounced it Lisa. And this is my friend. You're to leave them alone. Got it? Her Polish sounded weird. More melodic. Or maybe mellower. Even when she cursed. The drunkards mumbled and went back drinking. Thanks, Lisa. Lisa? Kim said in English. You shouldn't have. Oh, but I wanted to. How did she command so much respect? Why did they listen to you, I asked. She turned to me and shrugged with just a hint of a smile. Oh, they have their reasons. She looked at me up and down. And who would you be? This is Maya, smiled Kim. She's also not from here. Oh, you here to protest the logging? She raised her eyebrows. Or just a tourist? Why were they logging the national park? Wait, isn't this place like a national park, I asked? Why are they logging here? You'd think they'd leave the oldest forest on the continent, the beating heart of it, alone, wouldn't you? She looked at me with a grim expression. Wood is money, you know, she continued. Lots and lots of money. And there's enough wood here for some to justify illegal logging and the slaughter of the forest. Suddenly a feeling rushed over me. I was burning. I couldn't see the forest from there, but suddenly I felt very aware of its presence. I also felt something else deep in my stomach, spreading through my veins. Anger, like a wave of heat coming from the heart of the dark, ancient forest. A word appeared in my mind, a strange one that was neither Polish nor English. Calgera. Lisa looked me in the eyes and spat on the ground. I'd eat those greedy bastards alive. I noticed Kim watching me. I felt like I was being watched. And when I looked up, I saw Kim observing me with a curious expression. they were hiding something. I looked at them, and I realized they were much more than they first seemed. Under their colorful attire lurked something else, something primal. Why are you looking at me like that? I asked. I know you have strange dreams, they whispered. I suspect the forest is reaching out to you. They leaned closer to me. It runs in your blood. The words were like a punch to the gut. Trust me. I know. Who was I? Who am I? I asked quietly. You know how stories work, they said, looking me in the eyes. You'll figure it out. I felt a surge of confidence. I wasn't making that up. There was something strange in my family history, and there were people who knew what was going on. Before I could ask more, Bartek approached, and Kim shook their head, silencing me. Meet us tomorrow at the logging site. They blew me a kiss, put their arm around Lesa, and walked away. We decided to leave as well. Did I make a friend? Are we friends? We are not friends. And there's only 15 minutes left in the timer. Yeah, or 16 or something. I am very much loving this. It's so... I mean, obviously, I think it's very apparent. I love novels. I love reading. It's... Now, I'm not a religious person myself, but I love mysticism. I love fantasy. And I really, really like the World of Darkness setting. It is so... It is really freaking... It's so fun. And I also, like... I am not exactly a militant about my non-belief. However, I really enjoy listening to the belief systems of other people's, and I can say for certain pagans and Wiccans that I've been exploring their beliefs and their mysticism and all that stuff, it's been really, really cool and interesting. I've been enjoying that so very much. And the World of Darkness just... It oozes with non-traditional belief systems and paganism and old stories and myths, and it's so very cool. And this has that bleeding heart to it. It's deep in the center of it. It's overflowing in atmosphere and gripping. And the actual, like, I like that this is also like a kinetic novel in the way that it's also the audio design is done in a fantastic way that it also supports this story. Like, it only gives a little bit more atmosphere, but it's crucial to the atmosphere that the sound design is so good. This is great. This is really good. Yeah, I'm gonna be. Let's continue to Lost Hopes, Strange Dreams. Train spotting. I want to show you the most picturesque spot in the village, said Bartek, and then he hesitated. Maybe that's not the right word, he said, frowning. Well, it's not like it's that beautiful, but you know, it has atmosphere, a climate. Ambiance? I suggested. Ambiance, Bartek smiled, visibly relieved. I meant ambiance. We ended up on some abandoned trucks. We soon left the village behind and ended up on some abandoned railway tracks. The perfect place to meet a serial killer, I grumbled, looking at the overgrown tracks disappearing on the trees, with the slow winding river a stone's throw away, and the long drooping branches of the old trees shading the unused railway. That place really was picturesque. The bees buzzed around us, the birds sang like there was no tomorrow, and the fragrance of herbs hung thick in the air. My head was spinning. I was bursting with energy. "Let's race to the trees," I shouted, and before he could react, I was already running. I didn't look back. I started with a sprint and didn't look back. I'd never run so fast in my life, and it felt unreal. I could almost imagine my body changing, adapting, my legs getting longer, my lungs bulging. I felt invincible. Title drop. When the shadow of the trees engulfed me, I was alone. I felt someone watching me. I heard a noise and turned around. A woman was standing among the trees. It was Lisa. Lisa? Lisa. Lisa. There was only one Lisa. Yes, Lisa. Lisa. How did she get here? How did you get here so fast? I couldn't help but ask. There are shortcuts. She didn't elaborate. She smiled. "Since we are alone, I have some advice for you." She looked the way I'd come from. "Don't get too attached to your friend there. It won't last." I didn't know what to say, so we just stood there, looking at one another. "Do you mind if I join you?" she asked when Bartek finally caught up with me. I noticed Bartek getting tense. So, what's the story with you two?" I asked Bartek. "She's from around here," he shook his head, "but she helps with the protests." "You know," Lisa turned to me. "The protests against the logging that his father so eagerly promotes." Bartek winced and snapped, I guess. "Sorry, shouldn't we coexist with the forest? That means taking what we need to survive, just as everything does." 6,000 trucks of food isn't taking what you need, kid. He threw me a glance, looking for help. She had a point. "Don't look at me, Bartek. I think it's barbaric." I wasn't about to beat around the bush. If it was about local action, there wouldn't be a problem. She shook her head. "But it isn't. Giant corporations are at work here with heavy machinery. Ask your friend about his father's money and his clients." Lisa shrugged. Bartek stormed away. I shrugged and followed him. Lisa followed me. We walked the narrow path. The path was too narrow for all of us to walk together, so at some point I found myself walking with Lisa. She would squat from time to time and collect some herbs. "So you're looking for your roots," she said after a while. "Why?" I needed to know the whole story. "There's a story here, and I need to hear it," I answered honestly. "Sit down with me." She nestled among the roots of an old tree, reached into her basket, and took out a blunt. "Let's have a smoke, and I'll tell you a story." She noticed when I hesitated. "You need to hear it." I mean, I don't care. Yeah, I took the blunt. Tangled roots. Lisa let out a cloud of smoke and started talking. "From what I learned from Bartek's grandma, you're asking the wrong questions about the wrong people." Her voice was soothing. I closed my eyes and just went with the story. "This is a tainted land, girl," she continued. "So much blood was spilled that Puskeza was almost lost her mind." Puskeza? Puskeza was one of the words for forest. Polish had a lot of those, but she used it in a weird way. Why do you call the forest Skaza? Isn't last the just the I I am I should study Polish apparently. Isn't that the right word? I call her Skaza because it's a proper name. Lars is Skaza what dog is to a wolf. Domesticated, enslaved, used. Skaza is the primal forest, one untouched by humans. Primal, strong, and feared. There was admiration in her voice, and I realized that the word sounded like the rustle of leaves. Like the wind. Pushka. As I was telling you, Pushka was almost went mad, and it's not wise to wake those spirits. Especially not now. I wasn't afraid to stir up memories. Do you mean the spirits of the past? I shrugged. I'm not afraid to stir up some memories. She looked at me with those uncanny eyes. Her gaze was almost unbearable. Hard, with anger, smoldering somewhere deep within, ready to jump at my throat. And then suddenly, something changed. Lisa sighed heavily. You have no idea, do you? About the past? No, I admitted. All I know is that my grandfather was born here, and that his aunt was a healer and an herbalist. Her eyes lost focus as she thought, as though she was looking at something only she could see. In 1939, when the war broke out, first came the Germans, and then the Russians. You know, they actually worked together. Stalin never forgot that he was beaten by the Poles in 1920. She shot me a glance. I nodded politely. I didn't really care, but I nodded politely. Oh, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter really, she took a drag. Anyway, many millions of lives later, Stalin and Hitler stopped sleeping together, so to speak. And the Germans came. And then the Russians again. And then there were the forest soldiers. The forest part got my attention. I nodded that so she would continue. The forest part got my attention. They started as Polish soldiers. But then the war ended and they became guerrillas to fight the Russian occupation. And then they ended up as desperate bandits. She sighed. For the people who lived here, they were all the same. Germans, Russians, forest soldiers. They killed, they maimed, they tortured and burned villages. It didn't matter what language they spoke. What did it have to do with me? Thanks for the history lesson, I said, but where do I fit into all of it? My great-grandparents were from here, she sighed. After the war there were some changes, and my whole family was sent to Siberia to die. My grandmother was the only one who survived. She met a Buryat shaman, and here I am. But your story is tangled with all of this. She looked straight at me. Have you ever wondered what your grandfather did during the war? Then the weed hit me. And of course, that was the moment when the weed finally hit. That stuff was powerful. And for a moment, I wondered if she hadn't spiked it. I tried to stay focused. I focused and understood that the strange feeling came from within. It was like a long-forgotten dream, like an ancient memory suddenly brought to life. I let it in. We are sitting around the fire deep in Poska. Poska? Paska. We've discussed, and a decision was reached. Tomorrow we're going to burn a village. I tell stories of a better time. But that night, I'm telling stories of times that passed. Of times before the war, before the fires. The others listen in silence. The last quiet moments before the storm. In the darkness among the trees, wolves gather and listen to my voice. Then the vision ends. When I came to my senses, Leza was still looking at me. I ran it over in my head. If I understood what you're saying, I looked at her. Something from my family's past casts a shadow on my future? She shrugged. I told you everything I know. If you want more, talk to my girlfriend. We'll be at the logging site tomorrow. Yeah, good idea. My grandfather was a forest soldier. I will, I said. Now I finally knew who and what to ask. There you are, Bartek waved to me. I thought I'd lost you. I said my goodbyes to Leza and went back. And we went back. The village. The bison statues were watching me with their creepy painted eyes, as though they knew me. We called it a day and went back. The first evening, the bread and breakfast was quaint. I waved Bartek goodbye, took a deep breath and went inside. Anya was sitting on her bed drinking tea. So, what did you see? She asked. I went to see the town, you know, I said. I wanted to meet the people here first. I made a quick mental inventory of everything that had happened. They were cutting down the forest. I can't believe they are logging here, I shook my head. Isn't the forest on an UNESCO list or something? Yeah, I know. There's an international protest going on, Anya said excitedly. I was there all day. You can come with me tomorrow if you want. I mentioned the graveyard. There are people vandalizing one specific grave in the old village graveyard. I'm gonna continue probably to the end of this chapter. Specific grave? Someone from your family lies there. She apparently connected the dots. Yeah, I wonder what happened. I remembered the scene at the shop. There are many activists here, and because of the illegal logging. And the locals don't like foreigners at all. I got into a fight with some bastards who picked on this non-binary activist. It was you, Anya got excited. I went to see the protest today and we heard that there was some kind of trouble in the village. I told her what happened when I talked with Leza. I met this woman today who seemed to know something about my family. And the history of this region, and she had a joint. Oh god, my Anya grunted. You know, never mind, I shrugged. I don't feel like talking anymore. You know what? I'm seriously tired. Let's call it a day, shall we? Soon we were both in our beds, ready to sleep. I lay in my bed for some time, trying to make some sense out of everything that I'd learned and experienced that day. That gibbous moon was shining. The gibbous moon was shining through the window. A gentle wind was blowing. When I closed my eyes, I could still see the weird vision I had that day. My roots were here. I could feel them, almost touch them, and they were reaching to me. I felt I was closer to getting my answers. I should go and see the logging protest. I felt that the answers I was looking for were within my reach. I just had to go and see the logging protests, meet the right people, and make them talk. After a long while, all these thoughts became blurry, and they slowly started to turn into pictures, sounds, and colors. I drifted off. A night in the woods. In a big city, old men sit in leather chairs, lazily enjoying their ever-growing wealth. They watch. We have words on flickering screens. They watch me. My senses are heightened. I see the moon cutting the sky in half. This is gonna be cool, so I'm going to leave. Oh, 20%. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. But that will be it for today. Let's just move on straight to this recap portion here. So, Werewolf the Apocalypse. Heart of the Forest. An interesting visual novel. Very interesting. A very, very intriguing one. Now, it's visual novels are, of course, for a very, shall we say, specific audience. You know what you're getting into when you're going for a visual novel or a kinetic novel or whatever, I don't know, a novel in this sort of manner. And the specific thing is that it's going to be a lot of reading, it's going to be very story-centric, and it's going to involve making decisions. And that is no different in this scenario. This game is very, very much just focused on defining who you are, following the story and seeing it to its end, to its conclusion, and seeing what your choices made for you. I don't know how exactly meaningful the choices actually are, though. Of course, I didn't. It's just an hour preview for this game, so it's hard to say anything definitively. But I do like the story so far. It's very, very interesting. It's very cool. It's very intriguing. This is set in the. I'll make sure on the Steam page so that I am not misspeaking here. This is, if I am not mistaken, this takes place in the World of Darkness setting, with specifically the I can't remember the name of the werewolf side of the story, but it's not Heart of, it's Werewolf the Apocalypse. I think maybe, not exactly sure about that. I think it's Werewolf the Apocalypse, and it is gripping, to say the least. While I have played a little bit of the World of Darkness, mostly Vampire the Masquerade side of the story. And with that, I have played a little bit of the actual play, like actually role played with that system, and it is very, of course, it's very, it's very thematically filled. So it has a certain, let's just call it a vibe. It has a certain style, a flavor to it. It is for a very specific type of audience. It is very, these stories are like TTRPGs or RPGs just in general are always, or especially like these written RPGs are of course often very queer, or rather queer in the sense of not as in gay, but as in weird. It's interesting because I always have enjoyed them, and this especially is written in that style, written for that audience very, very well. I enjoy the Heart of Darkness setting quite a bit, and this is so very well influenced by that. It takes so very well after that. It's written in a beautiful style. It is very, very gripping. I am very drawn towards this story. It is just bleeding through the words with flavor. It's oozing with atmosphere. Now, it is a kinetic novel in the sense that the choices are very impactful, and the sound design creates an atmosphere and draws you in. While there is, of course, very, like, I hate when people start to make comparisons about gameplay stuff in visual novels, because sometimes visual novels don't have a lot of choices in them. But here there's like a lot, like quite a lot, to be honest. And I suspect that there is like a lot of branching stories here that are going to be interesting to explore. And for what it's worth, the story feels like there's a... I'm not sure about the exact amount of control that you have, but it definitely feels like you have a lot of control. And that sense of agency in a visual novel is very, very crucial in my mind. And that is conveyed here very beautifully. Not sure how much of it is just effective smoke and mirrors, but as we all know, smoke and mirrors in video game design is very important to keep up the masquerade, as they call it. So, yeah. I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the gameplay, I enjoyed the choices. The visuals are very nice. There's just some artwork here and there, and it gives an atmosphere. The sound design, as I already went into a little bit of detail, it's good. It is very good. It in at least for me, it draws me in very, very effectively, and the story is really, really intriguing. So this is definitely a high pick for me to continue, because I am very excited to just finish this. Now, of course, a lot of this has to do because I am reading this out loud, the story, so I kind of give a bit more flavor to it, and by giving it a bit more flavor by reading it out loud, I also quite actively, quite selectively, I give it my own flavor in this way, and it makes me kind of entwined a lot more with the story in the way that reading it in your head does not. And that is just how human brains work. If you read something out loud, it sticks in your mind a lot more. And I think that has done the game a huge service here for me, because it is tugging at me to continue. It feels like it is drawing me in to continue it. So, yeah. I don't know if that's a huge positive, if that's just a fun little detail, if it's just at the side advantage of streaming this preview here, but it's good. One minor note that I wasn't exactly that is the side disadvantage of streaming this and reading it all out loud, is that there's a lot of Polish names, and as is very apparent, I can't read Polish, so the pronunciation is not good, let's just say. I should probably learn Polish at some point. I do have a couple of Polish friends, so, and why not? It would be interesting, but I'm not about to add another language that I should get passingly acquainted with, so. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. It might be for a very specific audience, but I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back that I've chosen these 3 games that I have randomly at some point either gotten from Humble Bundle or just purchased at random sales. They are really good choices, because these are absolutely speaking to me. All 3 of these games were. So, yeah. I apparently know my tastes, or I might have very wide amount of, a very large margin for taste. So, I don't know, I can enjoy a lot of different things. Yeah. This is going to be one of the games that where you need to know what you're getting into. This requires a huge disclaimer on it regarding what exactly it is. Not just because it's a visual novel, but what style of visual novel it is, and what it is covering, and what is the style, because but usually visual novel, people who play visual novels always kind of do their usually they do their research for this because they need to know well in advance what exactly they are getting into if it is a visual novel that they would be interested in. But I think for a specific audience, it's really good. Yeah, so I'm very satisfied with that. I'm really satisfied with that. And now, before we end the stream, I have to, of course, announce what we will be doing next time. Because, as you can see, I have not switched to a spinner. And there is a very, very, very specific reason for that. And that reason is... Sorry, I should have prepared this up ahead of time. That reason is... this. Next time, I will be continuing Ori and the Blind Forest game playthrough. As with all of the gameplay that I have had so far in Ori, it will all be recorded, of course. And it will be a stream highlight here, so it will be added to the playlist. Uncut playlist. The stream will be added to the uncut playlist. However, I will also cut it into pieces and just make a highlight montage of it. Like, you know, do some fun little editing work for it. So that will be for next time. In hopefully about 2 weeks, unless something unexpected happens. But for now, this was the game roulette for today. 3 wonderful games: Nimbusfall, Ovivo, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest. And they were wildly different, very, very wildly different, and yet they were all something I really enjoyed. I'm very happy with this. This just like gives me a lot of spark to continue. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'll hope to see you all in the future. I'll hope to see you all next time as well, if at all possible. I thank you all very much for your continued patience, your continued support. I'll hope to keep working on the videos. Now, unfortunately, I kind of missed like a week of doing anything productive because of the minor illness I had. But now I'm doing better, so hopefully back to schoolwork and back to video work. So, thank you all very much for watching. I'll hope to see you in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. I'll catch you in the next stream. Ganmu.